Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here, and today I'd like to do a little review and a little demonstration of my Ranger R76RTF tire changing machine. It's kind of awesome. It does all kinds of kooky stuff, including change tires, which we'll talk about its features here. Here's the instruction book that it comes with. Now the difference between this one and the R76ATR, I believe, is this one has a variable speed motor in it and requires a 220 hookup. The other ones you can run on 110, but I'll be honest, a lot of these machines seem to run better on 220. I've had a dedicated 220 line run to this. For those of you familiar with tire machines, you can kind of forget about everything you see here. This whole power assist thing, I just want you to forget about that. And what you have here is your basic tire machine. So it's got the turntable, and as I said, this one's variable speed. So you can step on it a little, it goes slow, and then harder, it goes faster, which is nice. It also has reverse. Reverse is just one speed, however. You lift up on the pedal for reverse, by the way, but one speed. It's a little dirty. I've been changing some tires today, but there's a few neat little things about the table. It can do wheels from 10 to 30 inches. So this can go out way far, and the way you do that is you pull these little tabs here and you can slide these all the way out to the end to do larger wheels. So far, I've only needed to have them all the way in like this. Instead of pushing against the inside of the wheel, you can also grab. These have little lips on them so you can close in on the wheel instead of just pushing out against the inside. These are rubber or a harder plastic, urethane maybe, not real sure, but either way, they're designed not to harm like super expensive wheels. In fact, this whole machine is set up to do those low profile, those difficult wheels to do things with. It came with two heads. This is the steel head that's here. It also came with a plastic one. I don't use the plastic one. Most of the wheels I work on here are not anything that's gonna matter if it gets scuffed up, but even so, there are plastic pads on the inside of the steel head here, but I can swap it back and forth anytime I want, just removing these fasteners and hooking that in there. But it also came with additional plastic pads that I can put on the inside here and change those out whenever I need to. It also came with some tubes for repair and some other goodies in case you ever needed to repair it. It came all boxed up in a crate, and I've got to say that it was, let's just say it's awkward. It's definitely awkward to try to move this machine around. It's very heavy on this end and not as heavy on that end. In fact, if you're going to install this machine, this machine has like a feature that is unique, at least something that I haven't seen outside of this machine, and that is you could take this head here and tip it all the way back. Now because of that feature, when you install this, you need to have a certain amount of clearance between the wall and the machine, obviously, because as you can see, the arm comes back. In fact, I have this just far enough to where it just barely hits the wall when it's fully released. And it's got a couple of bruises from where it did just that. But I didn't quite have it into position, and I had to pull it back, so I ended up pulling in my Acura and hooking it up to the front of this and using it to pull it backwards a little bit. I had a guy from next door come over and help me put it in the position that it's in, but just like I say, be prepared to leave some space back there for that boom, because it does move back and forth. Here it has a gauge and an air hose for filling things up. The button right here lets air out, so you can allow air to escape that way. And to put air in, there's a pedal down here. This adds air. Now, many machines have a setup to where if you push down harder on this pedal, if you push a little bit harder, it'll send jets of air up through the table to help beat a difficult tire. Some tires that say have a wide sidewall or something, and it's difficult to get them to jump up on the bead, so you're having trouble doing that. So some machines have it so where you step on it a little bit harder and it'll shoot air up through the bottom, through the table, into the tire to help it bead. Ranger has taken a slightly different approach here, in that you'll notice there's a tank on the back of the machine here, and you fill this tank up, and you And I probably should mention, while that tank is filling up, it comes with a regulator and a oiler on the side of it. And you've got air that's just coming out that's regulated there, and then you have air that's regulated and oil that comes out. Now, that tank is filled up. You take this giant hose here, and there's products on the market that do something similar. This machine comes with it. So rather than, like I say, the stepping on it harder and trying to beat up a wheel, that's what this is designed to do. And you just move this collar here, you move this forward, and this will shoot out a massive blast of air. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's really loud. So yeah, it's like a fire hose. And you gotta be careful, because stars will come out if you point it at your face. So I wouldn't point this at my face. This comes out at a pretty good velocity. Difficult to bead tires. This is your weapon here. Fits right down in the wheel, shoots a blast of air in there. Hopefully it'll bead up for you. The usual functions are here on the front: the turntable, the bead breaker, also to lock the wheel in place, and the movement of the arm up on the top there. It comes with a tire spoon, so you can pry the tires off, which is kind of convenient. It also came with a bucket and a brush. I have some tire lubricant that I put in here. They don't give you the lubricant, but it comes with the brush, and it comes with the container and a little area over here on the side that can house all those things for you. It also has some shelving. Now, I've added these things. I have some tire stems and some grease pencil and such. It doesn't come with any of this stuff, but it does give you the area to store everything. The bead breaker is two-stage, so you can either have it for wheels that are above 10 inches or for wheels that are below 10 inches. You can turn it inward like this just by moving the pin. So you can do smaller diameter wheels that way. Since most of the wheels I do are above 10 inches, we do that. And the bead breaker has this plastic on the end of it, once again to help protect the wheels, and it moves not only this way, but in and out a little bit. Well, not much, but this way is how it moves. Now, when you're using the bead breaker, you need to be careful to keep your hands and things out of here, because if not, stars will come out. There are many warnings about when stars come out, and woe is the person walking behind the machine when the boom comes back. They're going to get stars out of their armpits. More stars if you're not careful. If you get your fingers caught in here, stars will come out of your fingers. So be sure to read things and wear safety protection. Now that we've explained all the dangers and all the places that stars can come out if you don't use this piece of equipment properly, let's talk about the power assist arm. Now, like I said, ignore all this to start with, and all this is a regular type tire machine. All this on the power assist arm is there to help you with those difficult to bead tires, things like low profile tires and such. You have this ram that can come out here with a roller on the end of it. You can also lock this down. Additionally, we have another arm here that can center a wheel, so that will come down and center the wheel. And also, this arm here, when it comes down, can follow the bead all the way around the tire as it spins. And I'm going to demonstrate that here for you in a minute. This one is actually to help you put wheels on, or actually take them off rather. You can put this under the lip of a tire as you're taking it off, and you can lift up, and it will help hold the tire in place while you position your spoon to rotate the tire off of the bead. So this is more for coming off, and all these other ones are for coming on, but simply controlled by this up and down switch. Goes all the way up there, and all the way down to there. Oh look, some tires. I wasn't just going to show you the machine, I was going to show it to you in action. So I saved a couple of tires from a job that I'm doing to do just that. I'll start by removing the valve stem cores. This tool is my tool, and I'll put links in the description to not only the tire machine, but also some of the other things that I purchased to go along with it. Could I have just ripped the valve stems out? Sure, but I don't roll that way. Now the bead breaker in action, and I know for a fact these tires are on here pretty good and difficult to get on and off. In fact, I might even crank up my pressure a little bit, my operating pressure. Well, I'm not, because right now I'm at about 129 PSI operating pressure is what I've got this set at now. That's probably sufficient. Bead breaker in action. First try. I'm a winner. That's the easy side. These back sides have been proving difficult. It was cameraman Brian's idea to change the setting on the bead breaker from the +10 to the -10, and it actually broke the tire loose, as you can see. But now it's all mangled, so I'm blaming Brian. It's the old tire, who cares? Turntable grabs the tire, it slides up on there, centers itself, which is awfully convenient. And since I have a wheel weight here, I will remove it. This machine does not come with a wheel weight hammer, so be prepared to purchase one of those, but that comes with the balance machine, and that is another review. I also have a bucket that I'm keeping my weights in. Okay, on the Tower of Power there is this centering cone. Now I've never used the centering cone. I've never used it in any sense, but it does just pull out. There's a ball in there that sort of hooks it in place. And it just sort of slides up in the center of this. Given that I don't use it, I'm just going to keep it off to the side with the rest of the tire tools. It's designed to go down into the center of the wheel and center it up this way. But the rest of the stuff, really helpful, but this does sometimes get in the way, so I'm just going to leave it off for now. Now let's check this bad boy in action. Push the button, it locks into place. So, and what's nice is, the boom, you go back and forth. So you take the tire off, blah, 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 put it back on, you're ready for the next one. It goes right back where you left it. It's darn convenient. This is a 20-inch tire spoon, by the way, if it matters to you. Now I've got the top bead off. And the tire is removed, and having the boom, the ability to go back like that, gosh, that's nice. Not exactly part of the review, but whenever I see wheels like this with all this goop on here, rather than putting more goop into it, I clean the wheels off and I use a Roloc disc normally to do that with. And it's nice to spin the wheel while I work. I like to cut the old valve stems out with a razor blade. The machine did not come with valve stems, but I was able to purchase some separately. It also did not come with a valve stem remover installer tool. I purchased that separately. Once again, I'll put some links in the description for you to extra stuff that you're going to need to go along with your tire machine. And these have these little chrome collars I'm going to put back on here. I've also found that they bead a bit easier if you remove the core. Let's start with some goo. That's actual tire slime that I've gotten here. Whoa. That was the easy one. Now is where this other extra stuff on the power assist arm comes in handy. I'm also going to come in here with this. And this guy, I'll run down a little bit more. And very carefully, I'm going to bring it around. And this helps so you can keep your fingers out of here. Like what I normally would do is I'd push down on this until it got underneath the lip as it was coming around. As I said, well, if you get your finger caught in there, stars will come out. So this is a good way to keep your fingers out. So. And there we go. And that, like I said, is extremely helpful. Keeps your fingers out from underneath there. So the power assist arm, and I probably should have shown you this guy in action. So when I was taking the tire off, I could have slipped this underneath and held the tire up so that I could put the spoon in place after I got the top bead already off. So this is nice to hold things up. Now, let's put some air in this guy. Yeah, I didn't have any worries about this beating up and having to use the air blaster. These tires fit on here pretty snug. I think we've reached our limit, which here goes up to about 60. Therefore, I get the hammer out and hope for the best. There we go. All better. And since I've got 50 some pounds of air in here, I can let it out simply by pushing this button. Oh wait, took too much out. I'm like, I thought this was 30, and this is 30 up here. Well, still have to put the valve core in. So I'll have to reset it after that anyway. I don't know why I was making all that effort. I guess I thought the valve core was already in. And there we have it, a freshly mounted tire. The R76RTF from Ranger. You've now seen how it works. The power assist arm, or tower of power, whatever we want to call it. Fully functional tire changing machine. I've enjoyed it. I've been using it for a little while now. I wanted to use it for a bit before I actually did a review on it. And I've been very happy with how it's worked out. And I kind of like the way the lift arm goes back and forth. But like I said, that did limit the amount of space. In fact, I had to move this out quite a bit in order to accommodate that. So be prepared for that part of it. Otherwise, it's a tire machine. Hopefully years of trouble-free service is what I'm looking for out of this. If you have automotive questions, I'm going to ask that you head over to EricTheCarGuy.com. Welcome video there to tell you about the stuff we have to help you. If you have questions about anything in this video, also check the description. There'll be links to everything for you to check out for yourself. If you wish to connect with me socially, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram. Close each of my videos. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and don't forget to play with your tools. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.